All right, now. Today we're going to talk about Queen and Slim. It's going to be a movie review. On top of that, we're going to talk about black relationships. How this movie had a lot of stereotypes, in regards to how black people, black men and women deal with each other in black society. Alrighty then, let's talk about this movie. My name is Kessa.
And I'm Ibfam Amin Ra. And like she said, we're going to sit here and we're going to chop it up and break down this Queen and Slim movie. And as a guest of the Kessa Resident Atheist platform, I just want to make it known as a disclaimer that whatever I say does not reflect on the platform, because I know I'm probably going to go left field.
Who cares? Because I don't, because that's the whole purpose of it.
But anyway, yeah, like she said, we're going to just discuss. Both of us viewed this film, and we're going to give a very clear and concise view on how we saw it.
Okay. Let's talk about stereotypes. On number one, I think we know what we saw when the movie came on. Angry black woman. You want to go ahead and talk about your thoughts on that? Her relationship, how she came at Slim?
Well, I mean,
on some real lonely shit?
Essentially, just to be honest.
No, wait. Question, not to interrupt you. Do you think her stereotype exists?
Sure, for sure.
So you have seen that a lot?
Yeah.
Within your journey in life?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have to. So go ahead and go.
And one thing I think the film did a great job of was that they went deeper into why possibly she would be an individual that would behave the way that she does. Now, as a disclaimer, Kessa and I, we saw this movie in a movie theater around the time that it actually came out. We saw a lot of the reviews that have already been displayed online. So after reflecting and deep reflection, we're just coming behind and giving a more, if we can, give them a more profound perspective and hindsight of how we saw the movie and how it plays into this 21st century dynamic of where we are as black people in America today, especially with regards to relationship, because, truth be told, it was a relationship movie. And at the end of the day, the question that she asked was, have I seen a lot of these sisters, with that energy? Not only have I seen sisters with that energy, but I've seen brothers with the brothers' energy. And one thing that I do have to give kudos with this movie is it went and gave you a background on why she behaves the way that she behaves, because of, what she's been through in her life. And, standing up for justice and, the justice system, understanding the dynamic of the situation that she as an African American woman was in. A deeper conversation we could get into. I don't know if we're going to get into it on here, but when you have these these African immigrant actors, or these immigrant actors, melanated actors playing African American roles. But I think she did her damn thing. If I wouldn't have known she was from Britain, I would not have known that she wasn't an American black woman. Just to be honest.
I love the fact that the director and the writer chose these individuals. Not really. I think they're being really vague about why they chose them. I mean, I think they gave some answer, but I think they just gave the answer that just...
Shit, they probably was cheaper.
Wow. You're probably right. You're probably right, but I can't say that because Daniel Kaluuya, he's already been in some movies.
I don't mean
Get
that.
Out, Black Panther. What's that other movie we just recently saw? No. I take that back. He's in Top Boy. So I don't know. But you're probably right. It probably was cheaper. But we're actually jumping topic right here. I like the fact, like I said, that they chose someone who wasn't American, to be honest, because it's not like racism doesn't exist where these individuals come from. So, but I was just speaking on the terms of the stereotype, because I knew when I first seen the movie, I kind of cringed because I was like, ugh, I know they are not going to make this movie into an angry black woman, because you kind of get tired of hearing about black women being angry or hard, and that's not always the case, But I'm kind of glad that I was a little skeptic. I was like, I'm just glad I allowed the movie to do its thing and really see it and allow the writer to bring the character through as to why she's not that angry black woman. She's just a woman. So me being a woman, black woman, definitely not the complexion of Jodie, but she's, I love the fact they chose these dark skinned features, and you get a lot of, in the world of, here it is, you got two dark skinned people who's got to fight in the system of white supremacy. I mean, what couple nowadays have you seen with that complexion, that dark, who actually, went through America's cycle and be successful? Can you think of any dark-skinned couples
that made it through American society?
Yeah.
Successfully?
Yeah, without the whole light skin, dark skin. I mean, you're from Charleston.
Wow. It's funny you said that, because I have, but by default, and not successful as far as the total American mainstream, but she mentioned Charleston, and when she says Charleston, we're not talking about Charleston, West Virginia, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about Charleston, South Carolina. And anybody that's physically, shout out to the Chucktown, if you're physically in Charleston, I hate the name drop, but if you know DeMille Seabrook and you know his queen, those are two blue, black, midnight chocolate people who are definitely advanced. Well, I don't know about now. I haven't been there in some years. But they definitely advance as melanated people. But the only reason why that is because there's so many tremendously melanated people in Charleston. That is like one of the major slave port areas. So in an area like Charleston, South Carolina, it depends on how palatable you are, because when you have a sea of dark-skinned people, now you're starting to discriminate against the dark-skinned people, whether they're intelligent and can speak the colloquial English language as opposed to the Geechee culture, and that's a whole nother conversation. But to answer your question, yes, I have seen that. But to add on to your point, when you were talking about, the whole aspect of how you enjoyed that they chose people, not from the United States, and something that I was thinking on is that I think it's a good thing that they chose non-American individuals. Why? Because one thing that we as black American people fail to realize is that we are the cultural influence of a lot of the brothers and sisters in Africa and in the diaspora. So I think in order for us to unify, a lot of them are showing that how they relate to our struggle even though they might not have significantly been a part of our struggle. What do I mean? If you go to Europe, they have a level of struggle, but it's mostly an oppression where they're the minority, like we're the minority, but the resources economically come from the United States of America, the energy that we bring forth. The resources that it takes to build certain things comes out of Africa, where white people are the minority. But they use a hellified military presence to gain the resources that they need to build certain things that are technologically advanced in society. And so if you got brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, brothers and sisters in Australia, brothers and sisters in Africa, brothers and sisters in Europe, and in Asia, a lot of them can relate to us because we're the most visible. Everybody is having money generated into their economies from what we bring forth in this nation. So everybody can relate to us. So that being said, they've already said how on 12 Years a Slave and certain movies that, you know, brothers and sisters from America, when we played certain roles, we got too emotional because we lived this shit. Whereas if you got a certain person who is a trained actor and they come over here and they play us, then, you know, we can actually benefit from that because they're not too steeped in our culture, but they can get the role across. Answer me this, Queen and Slim, those roles were convincing. I didn't even know Daniel Kaluuya was from Britain when I saw
Get Out.
I thought he was a regular brother from somewhere. I couldn't say where he was from, but I thought he was from the United States. Just like Stringer Bell, until I knew he was from Britain, I thought he was from, you know, somewhere in the United States. So we have to definitely put that aside and not get so into our emotions about certain roles. Is the message getting across?
Yeah, sometimes, you know, we get so caught up in, because some of us, let's be real, Black Americans really don't know how to act out Black Americans, the true and living Black Americans in America. All these movies that came out under white name, those black actors and actresses, in my opinion, played roles according to that. They were fake. I don't know. I mean, sure, we know slavery exists, but do you think that The Color Purple with Oprah Winfrey and Whoopi Goldberg really portrayed those people during that time? Do you really think that? See, we don't look at the fact that, yeah, we knew slavery existed, but a lot of times we don't go in these communities and really hear how people speak their country grammar. So, but, you know, we tend to focus on what's in Mississippi, what's down in Louisiana, and it wasn't until I got older I can somewhat distinguish where a person came from because I was so caught up in accents. But but in the United States, you have a Charleston, South Carolina accent that sounds different from those who are down in New Orleans. Lafayette does not sound like it's those people down in New Orleans. You just hear, when you come down to Houston, Texas, it's the same thing. When you come down here, you're going to have different types of accents, even within the Houston city limits. So we tend to get caught up in things that may not even be real. Because Chicago is not Houston, and Houston is not Chicago. New York is not New Orleans, and vice versa. Don't you agree? Mm-hmm. When you see how people get caught up in how we behave, you know. But back to Queen and Slim, like I said, there's a stereotype. They play the role to their best ability, how Black Americans are in America, how we tend to, when a cop pulls us over, how our behavior tends to be. You know, if a black woman is sitting on the passenger side getting irritated and the cop is there. We've seen these videos over and over again where the cop is harassing a black couple. We've seen that. And we have seen where the woman is relaxed and the man gets killed in the car with his child. We have seen that. So my point is, we truly need to start. And I just didn't mind these two playing the role of American people. I think they did it beautifully. I think they set the ambiance perfect. A lot of people may disagree, but when you here it is, Queen of Slim, they threw a bunch of damn stereotypes within. How long was the movie?
It was long. But one thing that I will say, I have in my 4+ damn near 5 decades on this planet and the modern technology of film, I've never seen two highly melanated people look that goddamn good on screen. Those two were beautiful. I mean, one thing I will say, y'all can have all the critiques you want about this movie, positive or negative, and I'm not here to judge, because I had some definite issues with this movie. But for sure, trust me, I walked out of the theater pissed to a degree. However, in hindsight, after I done calmed down and did the knowledge, I will say that, that's a classic flick. And, being myself, a highly melanated individual, those two look beautiful on camera. I mean, I've seen eras of music videos and film and all types of things, and I mean, that's the most beautiful I've ever seen two highly melanated, dark-skinned individuals on that camera. Beautiful. Beautifully shot. I mean, incredible. And I think that was, when you get into this Aquarian age and on a look at things from a metaphysical level, I mean, nothing happens by accident. So whether you have an issue with the movie and whether you think it's progressive for black people, once you look at the macrocosm instead of the microcosm of the white and black dynamic and all of that, because that's finite. That shit goes away. But us as human beings, when you look at the movie from that perspective, everything that black people are going through right now is us getting our shit together. Because the bottom line is that we are the people of nature. We are the people closest related to the universe. So if we're acting like fucking recessive, savage beings, then that, like when we saw that video with RZA building with the brother that just passed away.
Oh, Papa Wu.
Papa Wu. And he was saying how, when RZA was saying, God, at the end of the day, black people not supposed to be negative. So we the universe deals with us on a subjective level, because at the end of the day, it deals with us harshly because we're supposed to be better. We're supposed to know better. And I agree with that. You got niggas that are sitting and complain, well, I sell coke and, I get 20 years in prison, but a white man sells coke and he get a year or probation. Okay, but at the end of the day, that's the one thing I've been saying forever. White people look at you like, motherfucker, you the closest. Like, here it is. We could have the Range Rover. We could have the mansion. We could have all this shit, but we come onto this one physical plane. We're going to age faster than you on this one physical life. No matter what trinkets and all this bullshit we have, you come in the very best spacesuit there is, a melanated being. I don't want to get too deep because I tend to do that. Bottom line is, what I'm getting at is, for people who have judged this movie based on, and I guess we'll get into the ending if the goddess is gonna go there. I'm following her lead, but bottom line is, I had some issues with this movie, but I will say that just like Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, Boomerang, all the black classics that we've had throughout our existence, this has to be up there with one of them.
Yeah, this movie, I honestly, I really don't want to give a lot of spoilers. This movie is, I'm just going to say, really came off as, it's a love story, number one. And here it is, you have two individuals who meet off of some dating app, and they meet, have dinner, and they have this conversation, and both individuals have already decided, oh, yeah, we're not going to have a second date. You're not my type, that kind of thing. But they get forced into this situation, and a lot of you already seen the movie. You know, a cop gets shot and he dies, and they're on the run. But the thing I love about this movie is how many relationships actually survive this till the end. A lot of us do not, black relationships don't survive. But Queen and Slim at least give you that hope that they will survive until the end. Till death do us part. So this is the one thing I love about this movie, because another stereotype, like I said, it's all through the movie. And you know, you got the different types of black relationship in regards to love, how we get to know our partner, how we break up and fight, you know, and get back together. But how many relationships actually survive? And you see black love like that. You see black people in love. And some of us have witnessed black love on the level where you know this man and this woman is really being genuine. They are king and queen on the chessboard, and they move one step ahead or 5 steps ahead of everybody, and they move with understanding. And Queen and Slim have to learn each other once they were forced in this situation to say, hey, let me get to know you. Let me find out. Because in the beginning it was like, you know, she already made up her mind. I'm not going to date this. I'm not going to date him again. And I'm not going to really have him to get to know me because I'm being hard. I'm being resistant. I'm coming off as this, you know, angry, upset, lonely, depressed black woman. And, you know, most of you guys don't want to deal with that. Y'all don't, black men don't want to deal with no depressed woman. But Slim come off as the type to at least pick and try to pry and get to understand her. And at least that's how I see it. So the fact that, you know, I love this movie based on survival, based on the fact that it's genuine love, based on the fact that they have to learn and grow to love each other until the end. And that's what I love. There's a lot of ignorance, stereotype ignorance in this movie. We're going to charge that to the game. But at the end of the day, the movie is something that you can go and watch, and you can show it to a group of friends and ask them, hey, let's build on it. Let's talk about this. What did you think of this movie? Because it definitely sparked a lot of dialogue in regards to black relationship, how black men and women deal with each other. It definitely sparked something. It got people talking about the bad parts, the good parts, what they love. But most of all, everyone said they love the way these two look in the movie. They look natural. They look beautiful. The color was right. The ambiance was right. You know, I think it was well put together in the sense of, you know, timeline. But of course, all the shenanigans, the stereotypes they put in made you angry. That's what it was designed to do, because technically you either saw someone like that you didn't even want to deal with. That the ignorant black man with all the money, the police officer being sarcastic with you, the black man trying to call you boy outside your name, not being respectful. You know, those characters, we come across all those characters. We come across the coon characters. We come across the white couple who, you know, I have a white friend, or I have a black friend. This is my army buddy. You know, we come across those stereotypes. We come across the stereotypes, transgender. This is real talk. We can't deny all this. The culture of pimping, transgender, hoeing, black, you know, getting high, juke joints. All those things are in there. Country grammar, different types of accent. Dance, hip hop. All those stereotypes are in there. You know, we saw the truth. We saw what we wanted to see. And if it irritated us because we saw that type of individual or experienced that type of, you know, person.
Yeah, and well, and as a
I
disclaimer,
was too long with it.
no, I mean, but
disclaimer. What's the
I try to be fair, so I give disclaimers. And ladies and gentlemen, just know that the jewel that you guys are gonna get from this dialogue is that you have a masculine Aries and a female Libra, so you're gonna get a different perspective from both dimensions of the zodiac. Just like your people's Nick Cannon, who's a Libra male, and then his what's her name? Mariah Carey was a feminine Aries.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So how Venus is more the planet that rules Libra, that's more into romance and relationships. You have Aries that's more so isolated, independent, and about war. So how she just said about the aspect of relationships, now I agree with and see her perspective living in the Western society that we're in, and how important it is that we need relationships. But the one word she used was survival. Now, if we were in this situation, if it was me who was Slim, I just shot a cop, I'm with this loudmouth ass broad, to be honest, I'm trying to get her to where she can be safe, and then we go on our separate ways. So, how she sees it from a Libra perspective as a romance story, but in reality, certain people see it a different way. However, we're just sticking to the scene and the script of how the movie played out. And what I saw from how the movie played out was that on the journey showing a black man and a black woman in a system of white supremacy under extenuating circumstances, they had to come together and show and prove because they had already made the decision. You had this masculine female who was the leader, the general, saying, hey, I'm the best knower in this situation. We have to get out of here. You're, about family, and you're not dealing with the realms of reality. In order for you to be safe and survive, as long as you're going to survive, I need to be the general and hold you down in this situation. So during their travel and journey, you can see how they started to get to know one another, and it's kind of like a movie that, like I say, I wasn't into the mind of the writer. I didn't have the vision of the director, but one thing that I would say is that on an esoteric level, it kind of showed how black men and black women, sometimes we take each other so much for granted that, we have this one existence, but we're so individualized that we come together, we probably procreate, we probably fuck, we probably engage one another, but we don't have each other's backs.
Right.
To the point where it's like do or die. When that SWAT team showed up, I know she didn't want to give spoilers, but that last scene in the movie, I'm going to just say this. That last scene of the movie, there was masculine and feminine on that runway. It wasn't just white men. You see what I'm saying? So, in their society, in the dominant society, masculine and feminine both play a role. Even though there's a power struggle, but they unite against for their common cause against everybody else. And I think that's something that we, as original people, whatever you calling us nowadays, FBA, ADOS, but us as black American people, we need to get on code and get on the same thing. The masculine needs to play their role, feminine needs to play their role. Now, if you, I was telling Wifey that I saw the Joe Budden podcast, and
I mean, what role do the woman play? I mean, see, this here, when you say role, because to me, I have no role. In perspective of what?
Well, when I say role, is that when you are whoever is the best knower of whatever situation and is the most progressive, That's your role.
Okay. Wherever
You know,
you're weak, I'm strong.
There you go.
Okay.
Like
Well,
if I'm the man, but I'm good at house cleaning, that would mostly be seen feminine. But you got some junky ass broads and some clean ass dudes. Well, the dude is the cleaner, or whatever the case may
I
be.
get your point.
However, what I'm basically saying is there shouldn't be any ego involved with when it comes to who's the best knower in certain situations.
Right.
Because in that particular situation, most people would say, well, women are too damn emotional. She should have just shut her fucking mouth. He's dealing with the cops. You're going to get him killed by running your mouth and making this cop agitated. He's the one that the cop pulled out the car. He's the one that's got the cop searching the car.
And he was the one who really agitated the cop.
Who?
Sam.
Why you say that?
Oh, the cop pretty much had her in control until he said, "Can you hurry up? It's cold." That was the part that really agitated him.
Well, that's up to interpretation and the writing.
What? Well,
because at the end of the day, I mean, he was already once a cop. See, and now we get into the realms of reality. Because my only arrest in this life was due to the same circumstances.
No, but my point is, his agitation is what triggered the cop. Because she was sitting in the car until he said, he was standing there, "Can you put your hands up?" And he pulled the gun out on him because he was rushing him to do whatever the hell he needed to do, and that escalated the situation. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but
That's all I'm saying. That when a black man orders a white man and tell him what to do, that's a trigger on the white man. He was so triggered that he had to pull the gun out.
Goddess, I understand what you're saying, but damn, who got shot first?
That's not about who got shot. We're talking about what triggered the whole point of her getting out the car. What got her ass up out that car?
Oh, well, he told him to get on the ground.
Right.
Well, neither here nor there, but my point is, at the end of the day, and I hope y'all are following us. I know this is all over the place.
No,
this is our third time doing this type of video.
So we gonna see now.